want to welcome you to both Central Lakes College in Staples, Minnesota, and to the wonderful world of freight brokering. I'll give you a little history about myself in freight brokering. In 1992, I was living with my wife in a one-bedroom apartment with 5 children. No job, frustrated, pretty much felt hopeless. I discovered the world of freight brokering and my life has never been the same. So from that point, living with 5 children in a one-bedroom apartment, I ended up with an office with 3 people making $1,000 plus a week, all in this incredible business of brokering freight. I invite you to come with me. Okay, so I thought I would explain to you how freight brokerage works. Here's why freight brokerage exists. A truck will pick up in its home market, in this case Chicago, and we're delivering, in this case, to St. Louis to the receiver. Now, in the case of this load, the shipper is paying $2,000. Oh, sorry. The truck arrives in St. Louis. Great, except for one problem. They don't have a load back home. He wants to go back home. Why does he want a load to go back home? Pretty self-explanatory, right? One, he'd like to make money. Second, he's got to pay for his fuel. He wants a load back home. Will he take a load cheaper from St. Louis to Chicago than he did from Chicago to St. Louis? The answer to that is normally they will. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, there's no back hauls, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, to go back home, they will take a cheaper rate. So now you, the broker, you have loads out of St. Louis going back to Chicago. Okay, for the purposes of this video, we're saying the shipper's going to pay $2,000. Okay, so if the shipper's going to pay you $2,000, the question is what do you pay the truck? We normally are aiming for a 15% margin. That's going to be $1,700 on a truck. Okay? Now I've got Lisa Hall with me. She's going to assist me with this. Lisa, you're the truck, and you call about my load in St. Louis. Ask me what it pays.
What does this load pay?
Okay? Yeah, that load is, we're going to pay $1,700 in that load. Do you want it?
I'll take it.
Okay. She takes it, so we're going to put it in our system. That's going to generate a load confirmation, and we're going to send it over to Lisa's company. They'll sign it and send it back. Why do we have to have a rate confirmation? Anybody know why we have to have a rate confirmation? Because what if you move this load and 2 weeks later the truck calls and says, hey, you only paid us $1,700 and we agreed to do it for $1,900. Problem, right? So we want to avoid that problem. Everybody needs to know the rate is $1,700. Okay, so now what happens is you've got this load for $2,000, the shipper's paying you. The truck doesn't know that. They call you. Yep. Hey, what's that load paying from St. Louis to Chicago? $1,700. Oh my God! How could truck companies survive on that? We'll be out of business in a week. You know what? It doesn't matter, guys. If you told them it was paying $2 million, they'd say the same thing. How can truck drivers survive on just $2 million a week? Anyway, the point is that there's negotiation just about in all these loads. So 1,700. So if I've got this load, the guy won't take it for 1,700. He said, I've got to hit $2,100 to move that load. Problem. What's the problem, Lisa?
The load don't pay that much.
The shipper doesn't pay that much. So since the shipper doesn't pay that much, now what do? Well, if I've got this load, I'm going to say, hey, what have you got to have to move it? Well, I couldn't do it any less than for $1,950. All right. So now, at this point, you know what the truck will take. Is $50 enough brokerage to move that load? Do you think $50 is enough brokerage to move that load? Normally, it is not. But if it's the first load you're moving for the shipper, or the shipper, you've committed to the load and it's Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock and the load picks up tomorrow morning, move that load. Why? You want to service the shipper. If you service the shipper, you'll get continued business. Normally, I would advise you never take a load that you make less than $100 on. Always try to keep that $100 margin. But there are some examples in extreme cases where you would take a $50 load. Another option is, the guy's back up here and he won't budge on 2100. Listen, what do you think you would do if you got this load, no other calls, no other interest, and he's insisting on 2100? What might you do?
I have no idea.
Okay. I would call the shipper. Call the shipper and say, hey, George, I got a truck. That's the good news. The bad news is he's got to have $2,300 to take a load. Why am I saying $2,300? Why am I not saying $2,100?
Because you want to make a profit.
Because you've got to make money. You've got to make money. You couldn't go flat on it, not recommended. You won't stay in business very long if you go flat on a lot of loads. So you call the shipper, you say, hey George, I got a truck, but he won't do it for less than $2,300. Can we do it? A lot of times, I would say 7, 8 times out of 10, the shipper will say, let's move it. So now you got a load, you got a truck, everybody's happy. In this case, you got a $200 brokerage. You've made $100. Everybody's happy. Okay, that's how it works. Yeah, hi. Okay, so it's James again. We've already given you an introduction concept of how freight brokerage works. Earlier today, I was in this business called Verndale Tire. What was I doing here? I was getting a tire. Hello. And now we're gonna talk to the owner here about moving his freight. I can have you. Hi, I'm James Sneeden. I'm with National Service Transport. Good to meet you. I wanted to. The reason I'm here, I want to see you. If you got all these tires, you must bring them in by truck.
We bring them in by truck all the way from Chicago.
All the way from Chicago.
Yeah.
And did you? Do you need help finding trucks in Chicago occasionally?
Well, sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What have you been paying on those loads from Chicago to here?
$1,100.
$1,100.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, would you give me a chance at your business?
Absolutely.
Okay. And your name is?
Jerry Marshall.
Okay. Jerry, I really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
I'll be in touch with you. Thank you. Yeah, hello, it's James again, and I wanted to show everyone how you solicit freight. Typically, as freight broker agents, we don't go on site. We don't go, but we're in a town close to mine, just 20 miles from where I live. I started this local business. So what I'm going to do now is ask for the traffic manager or the person who routes freight. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm James Sneeden.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Can I ask who handles your routes, your freight, or who handles your traffic?
I would do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I work with National Service Transport out of Fargo, and what we'd like to know is, do you have any freight needs? Do you have times when you need outside trucks?
We do, yep.
Well, we'd like to get, is that, you mainly do that on reefer, if I understand that correctly?
And dry-downs.
Oh, you have on drive-ins? Okay, so you have, can I ask how much freight for a week or per month you make?
That we would line up on our own.
Yeah.
A lot of our freight is lined up by the customers, but we do have at least a couple to a few.
Couple of weeks. Yeah, all right. So how would I get involved in helping you?
What you could do is leave me your card, and I would have your contact information, and what we would do is contact you for a quote when we were looking for freight.
Okay, that is excellent. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so today we've seen some interesting things. I explained freight brokers to you, explained to you how I got into business, I explained to you why freight brokerage exists and some nuances about loading trucks. And then you saw us call on a couple of customers. I went and got my tire changed this morning, and the place is loaded with tires. Well, gosh, how did the tires get there? By truck. Shouldn't be surprising at this point, right? And then you saw us later make a sales call at a cheese factory. Now, if you remember when I was talking to the girl at the cheese factory, when I was talking to her about freight and how she moved it and what she needed, what did I didn't, a real non-threatening way to approach this is to say, how can you get involved in your freight? And that's what I asked her. And she says, well, give me your contact information and we'll communicate. Folks, that's all there is to it. Now, you need to do a lot of that because you want to have about 25 to 45 customers. When you've got 25 customers, you're probably going to be making about $1,000 a week. So, this is a wonderful business. We're going to conclude now. And just think about this for a minute. We let you use our $75,000 bond. We let you use our transportation authority. We let you use our insurance. We bill the shippers, invoice the shippers for the payment, and we pay you before we're paid. And the other thing about that is they also pay the trucks. There's no money out of your pocket. This, I hope you realize what a phenomenal opportunity this is. I'm going to read you a text that I got today from an agent that's been working with me for 2 weeks. Give me just a minute on this. Sorry, this is an email. I quote, I'm reading you directly from the email. I booked 2 more loads this morning for almost $600 take home. And it's not even lunchtime yet. Do you want to get in this business, folks? If you'll work, I'll help you for the same results. Thank you very much. This is James Sneed from National Service Transport.